creating curiosity by asking better questions. This is Shed Talk. Shawn McIntyre, the things you know that you don't know. Do you really know what it takes to be grounded with energy? Shawn does. Shawn McIntyre, thank you very much for joining me on Shed Talk. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Oh my gosh, my honor. Thank you for having me over. That's amazing.
And you know, it's funny because I look at you, you just had your birthday and you just turned 50 years old.
50.
I better be careful. I better not say your age because I could have got myself in trouble there. Oh wait, he's 50 years old.
Oh yes, no. You know, it's funny. We were just saying how, we hear it all the time that, age is just a number. And I was literally just talking to my wife that is like, no, but it's true. It's true that, in a lot of ways, I actually feel better now than I did in, my 30s and even in some of my 20s. So it's been an amazing journey, this thing called life.
And you think about it, so turning 50, and we get a lot of people that are turning 50 and they're going, oh, they can't pick up stuff, they can't do this, and they're self-sabotaging themselves and going, like you said, 50 is just a number. And here you are, 50 years old, okay, and just saying that you're at your peak is now, but you've been working out, you've traveled the world, being an international model. Tell me a little bit more about that, starting off in your 20s and 30s.
So being a model was actually something that I got into at the age of 38, actually. And so my younger years was really about not even discovering who I was. I have a saying, and it's like, I discovered who I was, and it's tended to come after the age of 30 and 40. I discovered who I was by who I wasn't. So I was doing all these things, and it was like, I actually thought I was like, oh my God, I'm failing at so many aspects of life. And my body felt heavy and tired, and I struggled with so many things, like physically, mentally, and emotionally, that it was like, oh my gosh, like I was lost in so many ways. And so to really understand how to grow bit by bit and to continue to really get focused on growing me as the source was the key. I was always trying to look for happiness outside. I was trying to grow businesses, grow relationships, grow everything out there. And it would either work for a little bit or not at all. And so I say that life was actually leading me from the very beginning on how to really go within inside of myself, not just try and build it on the outside.
So when you're young, and we talk about a lot of young people finding themselves, because when we're teenagers, we're hyperactive, and you have kids that are like this, and then you're in your 20s and you're hoping that you settle down and put your head to work. In your 30s, well, you should be ready to do this. 40s, you're supposed to be this. So having the proper mindset and recognizing mindset, when did you realize you're recognizing the mindset to create a change?
That's such a big topic, and it's one of the things that I talk to corporations and CEOs and even private clients about is my mindset. Very often I didn't even recognize how the thoughts I was having, there was already a predetermined mindset that I had. And mindset's interesting because for me, my experience was recognizing the voices that I had, the thoughts I had, but then very often my strategy was to do the opposite or versus, okay, how do I grow my energy? And what I understood was that, growing our energy affected everything for me. As I focused on growing my energy, it was like my mindset changed where it was no longer just in reaction. Even if I had a negative mindset, I tried to make it positive, right? Have you ever heard that? It's like, oh my gosh, like turn a negative into a positive. Yeah, 1,000%. But I discovered something else that worked for me, which was not just the opposite of a negative mindset, but how could I get into a mindset that aligned with me growing myself? So the analogy that I sort of paint out there is, an acorn is a certain phase of life. And talking about young people, well, that acorn, maybe it has negative experiences or even positive experiences as an acorn. It's still an acorn. So it's got that level of mind. But if it grows and it becomes a seedling and a sapling and then an oak tree, you'll see that the energy is required to take it from an acorn to an oak tree. And now the mindset starts to become in alignment with who you really are on the inside. So coming back even to the first point, I, from my own experience, discovered life was causing me to go within myself and learn how to grow from that aspect first.
So when you talk about growing from that aspect, and you brought up a couple things about energy.
Yeah.
What does energy mean to you? Like, as some people would look at energy, oh, I'm full of energy, I'm ready to go today.
1,000%.
But what state of mind do you think where you see the energy coming from?
I see energy at first, and I love what you said because it's very often, depending on where we're at, again, if we're talking about the acorn, which is like, okay, I'm going to hustle and grind and, I'm going to go over to this tree or over there, to that side of the forest. That's physical energy. And very often when we think about energy, we might start off thinking like a bull in a china shop. Okay, I got to get it done, right? Versus what does it look like physically, mentally, emotionally, and then from an aspect of what is our essence? What does it even look like to stop doing, have moments of silence, have moments of stillness, moments of nothing, and to be able to concentrate our energy even in just our relationship with space, our relationship with not being so busy. And you'll get a bunch of feedback and emotions and thoughts will rise just from that space. So going within is an aspect that's not just physical energy, but mental, emotional, and then eventually, to me, it sort of led me to what I call the essence of us, which is we all have, but it's a journey to get there.
So when you're looking at the essence of us and talk about that energy, is how many times do people actually sit back, take a deep breath, relax and pause and be present in the moment?
Absolutely. I honestly think, coming from a hustle and grind background, trying to get it all done out there, being married and divorced and having kids, just like everybody else, I come from a very busy life. And I got to a certain point where that hustle and grind, it was like, oh my gosh, this is not working for me anymore. And to literally sit down and do nothing, meaning I don't mean just with a remote and you're sitting, your feet up, kicking back, but to literally, okay, who am I? Like, who am I really? Like, what's next? Like, who would I be on the next level? And, what would make me happy next? See, I saw that every challenge I was facing in the outside world was an opportunity to go within and be like, okay, who am I next? Not just how do I solve this out here, but who am I next? If I were the instrument, if I were the vessel in which produced all of these results out here in business, in relationship, in physical health, mental health, emotional health, what is that next level of growth? So I started to, handle things on both sides. And so coming back to what you're mentioning, sitting still, I'm convinced is actually way harder than going out and doing things just by in a reactionary state.
And that just being present at the moment, you have to really focus because your mind just goes, oh, I got this guy. Oh, wait a second. Oh, this is boring. And technology. And
Absolutely.
it's kind of like aging ourselves. You mentioned right there, sitting back with the remote control watching TV, and I'm looking at that. I'm going, yep. I think we just aged myself anyway, because it's not on your phone scrolling.
That's right. Well, and I have, I have kids that are in their 30s, in their teens, and then in their and I have twins that are 7 years old. So I've got a few, decades of kids. So yeah, I'm sort of drawing on different experiences from me and even my kids, when it comes to the remote. But yeah, it's one of the jokes I say is, even to my 7-year-olds, they're like, "Whoa, Dad, are you like psychic?" I'm like, "Nah, it's just I have experience of like, I've seen these kids come before you, and so now it's just like, nah, I've seen this before." But when it comes to the ability to sit and just be present, honestly, I think that is one of our superpowers going forward. Especially when there's so much change and recalibration going on in the outside world right now.
Oh, and there's definitely a lot of change, and especially when you have a son or a daughter that's 30.
A daughter, yeah.
So a daughter that's 30. So you hit basically all spectrums from the young to the old, and then here you are right now. So the kids at 30, sorry, the kids at 30, the young adults at 30 must have a really different experience than when you were at 30.
Oh my gosh. And I think that is one of the things where I see that the younger generations, younger adults, there's such a change in the mindset, even from when I was, a child, and, being told to just get married when you're, 20, 25, 30, have a career, and, so that's totally changed. And it's like people are waiting longer, and this is not new, but when I look at me at 50 now, and really, when I say I'm just getting started, it's not from an age perspective, and it's not from a life experience. It's from a level of energy that I've generated in myself. That's like, whoa, that I'm able to see the changes that are going on out there. And that allows me to be present. So, I really love that question about the mindset and how we're relating it to energy. Because I was just talking to someone yesterday, and she's like, "Shawn, I got this OCD, and such a perfectionist, and it serves me, yet it's limiting at the same time." I'm like, "Uh-huh." It's like, I want to go beyond it. And we were just having this conversation about energy. That as we increase our energy, that's how we go beyond our limitations of, OCD and this condition and that condition. And it allows whatever we were struggling with on a certain level to be unleashed, harnessed, owned. And we start to see the brilliance in everything that started out as a challenge for us, even age, even business. And so I think energy is this new realm of creativity. When we talk about creativity and entrepreneurship and technology, we're living in like real time.
And so living in real time, and I'm going to go back into the energy because it's really exciting when you think about it, because a lot of people don't really talk about it and dive deep into it. As in, is it mindset or physical body that is the most important?
Well, that is a great question. My experience and everything that I speak about is body, mind, and even our emotions. They're all connected, and based on the level of energy, we're able to tap into different aspects of our mind, of our emotion, right? Like if our energy is high, how do you think our mindset is, high or low?
Well, we should be high.
It would be high if our energy is high, right? Like when your energy is flowing, you're like, oh my God, it's like you're dialed in, and you would say, oh my gosh, my mindset is high. If your energy goes low, well, would your mindset still be high, or would it drop to being low?
Mhm.
So the energy is the catalyst of a mindset and of what it is we feel in our body.
Now, can we manipulate that? So we had talked earlier and we said, all right, I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. No, I'm going to have a great day. So I positive reinforcing myself
Yeah.
to say, "Hey, this is going to be the greatest day."
Yeah.
Now, can I tap into my energy to say, wait a second, I'm present where I am. I need to up my game fitness wise
Yeah.
as I would use I use fitness as working out because obviously you work out, you've competed in work all over the place. I'm assuming you WMBF or
So I got my pro card in the WBFF, and then yeah, I won international and world championship, on that level.
so you get it about diving deep into the mindset, especially as a bodybuilder, or
Yeah,
sorry, bodybuilder, getting into that. And you have to actually manipulate and change your mindset through your energy.
that's right.
And
That's right.
do you have life hacks that you would, and I use this as a life hack because it's like you'd watch all these clips and they'd say, well, make sure you go to the gym. Why aren't you going to the gym? They call you a name or something like that because you just don't feel, just do it.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with life hacks that you'd say, all right, I got to get myself to this level? Is there a level that people could say, "Oh, I'm bored. How do I get to it?" How would people want have a life hack to get to that next level?
As far as just being able to get to the gym and do it anyway.
That too, but creating energy to up your energy level.
So I look at it, even if you're like driving a car, you got first gear, second gear, third gear, and fourth, fifth, whatever. So if and I know about being unmotivated and even falling into a depression, even being fat and depressed. If I would just be just blunt, that was me. I got myself, from underweight to overweight, and I sort of missed this optimized state. Okay, and so I saw that energy was a way that I could, navigate. So no matter where we are, if we're struggling mentally or physically with energy or depressed or we're confused, whenever you got a car that's parked, you put it into first gear. And that's like our body. So whether or not we think we can do something, or even if we feel like we can do something, you can still move your body, yeah?
Okay.
Even if you don't want to do it, you can still put your feet on the ground and stand up, right?
Oh, but you get that mindset. Oh, I don't want to do this. Here I go,
Right.
and self doubt. Or you got everything but that thing that you want to do.
Right. So our body is such a powerful tool to override. When you're talking about a life hack here, you're talking about a fitness hack, you're talking about an energy hack. Our body is that hack, which is like first gear, meaning you can do it anyway. So you just have to, even if because your mind is going to tell you, no, you can't, who do you think you are, all this stuff. But if you can just remember this, what we're talking about, that program yourself to move your body anyway, and you'll see that you can actually override your mind. You can override your brain because it's your body that's actually been conditioned and gives the signal to your brain on how to think in order to maintain your current state. So you use your body to re-engage your mind. I actually discovered this as I started going to the gym after my second divorce. And I was actually so depressed and unhealthy that I was in the hospital, bedridden for 4 weeks. I couldn't, because I was stressed from divorce and like just life, right? That I got out of the gym and I was like, oh my gosh. I looked at my kids and I was like, I want to be a better dad. And so I started going to the gym, not because I wanted to, because I wanted the energy to be a dad for my kids. And so I got to the gym and I started moving. And at first, moving your body, you're like, oh, this feels pretty good. But then I realized, oh my gosh, being in the gym after a little bit, like a week, Anyone feel good after about a week of any sort of change and then you start to like fall back? I saw that my mind was like, nah, you don't want to do this anymore. And so moving my body made me feel good, but then it also exposed my mind for what it was. So I used my body to see what my mind was set at. And so if I could use my body to change energy, then I could also do the exact same thing for my mind. So when we talk about body, mind, and spirit or energy or God or love or truth even, it's the same thing. It's all one, but we can use it as stair steps. The body is like first gear, and it's going to expose your mind. And then it's like, okay, can I still get into my mind? And then can I change that? Like you said, knowing how to put it all together, which is just like, okay, yeah, what are you doing to move your body? What are you doing to move the mind? I wasn't aware the way my mind was. I had such painful thoughts and emotions that I was like, no, forget it. I don't want to go there. I just want to, focus out here, right? And I actually avoided my mind.
During the workout?
Just in
Or
life.
just in life?
So the more that we move, the more we get a little bit of energy, and then it reveals the next place where we can get even more energy.
So
in the mind.
Did you find it when you're looking, you're in this process, okay? So your body's moving, you're getting this, and your head's saying, oh, I don't want to work out, or I don't want to do this. Was there, and I keep going back to it's not a life hack, and it's when people are listening and they're going, well, I'm going to try that life hack to start thinking or talk to myself in a certain way, whatever that is. What's that one moment that here's your body moving, all of a sudden you're saying this, and then define flow with your mind and body? What point is that at?
Where you find that flow?
And it's probably just at the initial state. Like when you're getting in and you're going through this change, you're recognizing, wait a sec, my body's starting to feel good. Yeah. All right, I got to get my body or my mind caught up with my body so that we're in sync, that we have our energy flowing properly. Was there anything that you had to do for consistency, like building calluses kind of thing?
Totally. When we talk about being consistent, coming way back, I discovered who I was by who I wasn't. I was so tired of just feeling low. I was so tired of that I had to make a decision that it was like, I want to feel better. And so I had to even just give myself that. I needed an intention on top of something. If I didn't know that I wanted to even feel better energetically, then everything would have taken me out.
So would that be like more like, I'm not saying life hack. No. I'm going into that, knowing what you don't know, and then basically putting yourself out there as in, I want to get more into that. More about the things you know that you don't know on that process.
And that's where knowing how to move your body, knowing how to go into what I call harmonizing with that unknown zone. You're not going to be able to just willpower yourself. You actually, from my perspective, you need the other side of the coin, which is your relationship with nothing, with stillness, which is, okay. Because I actually discovered that I'd get moving and I'd hit a roadblock. If I was by myself, I'd hit a roadblock. I'd want to get moving. And so I was caught. So I had to use both. I had to be able to increase my moments of stillness and silence, which is that unknown zone. How do you know something that you don't know? Well, from my perspective, from my experiences, you handle it two ways. Yeah, you go out into the outside world and you start getting feedback, reflections, and you also learn how to go within yourself to be silent, to be still, and to figure out, okay, who am I next? To me, those two things, they go hand in hand. One without the other, meaning the external, trying to just handle the external without handling your internal self, which is the silence, the stillness, to me, it never worked. When you put those two things together, now you're talking about different levels of energy, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, because my experience is when you go within, you have the opportunity to harness more powerful energy than just being physical in the outside world. It's more concentrated energy, if that makes sense.
Yes. And that's where I was getting into more is what are your non-negotiables, and where you just put the two right there perfectly. Now, where you're at right now,
Yeah.
okay, now you're looking at, now you train people for this, like you, for self-coaching seminars, you wrote a book, Heal the Boy, Heal the Boy, Build the Man. And where are you now with basically getting, and it's not where you're now, like you're doing this and you're self-helping people.
Totally.
How does that work for you? Like how are you responding to your customers that way, or your clients, or your friends, and that aspect of it?
I think now more than ever, Kevin, is everyone is looking to grow. And when we talk about heal the boy, build the man, it was getting in touch with where I was, that aspect of where I was conditioned externally, from parents, friends, things I was told who I was, right? Your name is Shawn, and this is who you are, and this is, right? We get it all the time by the outside world, and it's just more and more and more through social media, technology. And so to learn how to truly go within is a separate process than handling the outside world. And I didn't get that at first. I thought, okay, I need to be responsible. I need to handle, my family and make the money and all this, 1,000%. And I did that, and I hit roadblocks. So if you're at a certain ceiling and it's like you can't get through, I teach people how to actually, on the other side, go within themselves and to access that unknown. And that has been my experience, where wherever you're hitting roadblocks out there in the outside world, in business, in relationships, very often it's not what's necessarily what's wrong. It's what's next. And what's next is not just more physical, external effort and hustle and grind. It's more internally clarifying, releasing the resistance. Who am I next? What is it that if I were to tap into, that oak tree in me, what would be the next level of inspiration? And then it's pairing that with the outside. One of the biggest things I hear from clients, entrepreneurs, business owners, is when they begin the journey within, they say the same phrase, which is like, oh my God, I didn't know what I didn't know. Mm. And I needed to go within to get this next level of experience that the outside world would actually never give me. And so merging those two realities is what I teach people how to really grow, whether it's their business, whether it's taking their relationship to the next level, because it's taking you to the next level.
Awesome. And you're doing a podcast now as well?
Yeah. So I've got the Level Up show, and it's a live show that's syndicated over a few different TV stations in California, down in Austin, and here in Canada, of course, and then we turn that into podcasts and across social media platforms, and it's been an excellent way to be able to get not only my message out, but other like-minded individuals who are growing, and so it's been awesome.
And you know what? This has been awesome, because the greatest thing is a lot of people are or don't understand as entrepreneurs, as business owners, and having a coach like yourself and energy and how important that is to help yourself grounded and have that guidance. The things you know that you don't know. You know what, Shawn? Thank you very much for being on Shed Talk. That was outstanding. And I'm going to sit back and I'm grounded.
I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now you know. Shed Talk.